Once upon a time, in a vast kingdom filled with wealth and grandeur, there lived a poor but honest man named Arjun. He was a simple farmer who toiled under the scorching sun every day to feed his family. Though his life was full of hardship, he never complained. He believed in kindness, hard work, and honesty. One day, as Arjun was plowing his small field near a dried-up riverbed, his plow struck something hard. Curious, he dug deeper and uncovered a handful of strange-looking stones. They were dull but had an unusual sparkle when sunlight hit them. Arjun's eyes widened. Could these be valuable? He thought, but being a humble man with no knowledge of gems, he simply placed the stones in a sack and continued his work. The next day, Arjun traveled to the royal city to sell his vegetables at the marketplace. While waiting for customers, he saw the king's royal jeweler examining precious gems at a nearby stall. Gathering his courage, Arjun approached him. "Sir, could you take a look at these stones?" "I found them in my field," Arjun asked, emptying the small cloth bag. The jeweler gasped as he held one of the stones to the sunlight. His trained eyes recognized the rough, unpolished diamonds immediately. "Where did you get these?" the jeweler asked in astonishment. Arjun, unaware of their true worth, casually replied, "I found them while farming near the dried riverbed." The jeweler's hands trembled. These were not just ordinary diamonds. They were among the purest he had ever seen. Without wasting a moment, he rushed to the palace to inform the king. King Virendra was a ruler obsessed with wealth. He had built the grandest palace in the land and adorned himself with the rarest jewels. Upon hearing about the diamonds, his eyes gleamed with greed. "Bring that farmer to me immediately," he commanded. Arjun was brought before the king, who examined the diamonds with hungry eyes. He knew that if such stones existed in the farmer's land, there could be many more. "How much do you want for these?" the king asked, masking his greed behind a smile. Arjun, still unaware of the real value, shrugged. "I only need enough to buy more seeds and take care of my family." The king smirked. He could exploit the farmer's ignorance. "I will give you 10 gold coins," he offered. Arjun, thinking it was a generous deal, gratefully accepted. He bowed deeply and left with the gold, feeling blessed. Days passed and the king sent his men to secretly search Arjun's land. They found a hidden mine of diamonds beneath his fields. Overjoyed, the king ordered the area to be seized in the name of the crown. When Arjun heard this, he was heartbroken. His land, his only source of survival, was taken away. He went to the palace and pleaded, "Your Majesty, without my land, how will I feed my family?" The king, blinded by his greed, dismissed him coldly. "You were paid, now leave." Despite his loss, Arjun did not curse the king. Instead, he accepted his fate and started working as a laborer in the same fields he once owned. His honesty and hard work never wavered. Months later, the kingdom was struck by a severe drought. Crops withered, rivers dried up, and famine spread across the land. The people who once lived in prosperity now suffered. Meanwhile, the king sat in his palace, surrounded by diamonds but unable to eat a single one. He had all the wealth in the world but no food to sustain his kingdom. Desperate, he ordered his diamonds to be traded for food. But no neighboring kingdom was willing to help. They had heard of his greed and refused to aid him. It was then that the king realized his mistake. The very man he had wronged, Arjun, had the knowledge to farm. But he had taken everything from him. Swallowing his pride, the king summoned Arjun. "Forgive me," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "I was blinded by greed. You are the only one who can save my people. If you help restore the farmlands, I will return your land and make you the chief of agriculture." Arjun, though hurt, did not let hatred cloud his judgment. He knew that innocent people were suffering. "I will do it," he agreed. Under his guidance, the kingdom's fields were revived. Arjun's knowledge and hard work brought life back to the barren lands. Soon, crops flourished and the people had food again. The king, humbled by the experience, kept his promise and returned Arjun's land. He also learned the true value of wealth not in gold and diamonds, but in people and nature. Greed can blind a man, but honesty and kindness always triumph. Diamonds and wealth may shine brightly, but they cannot feed a starving soul. True riches lie in good deeds and a pure heart.